welcome on board of our flight that's taken off to ID4Africa for 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, dear passengers, please stay seated for our presentation. Our topic today is real-time biometric passport creation and verification at airport checkpoints, and our team is Gatekeepers. The crew that will be serving you today, and the pilots and co-pilots are myself, AUI, Walid Hamidi, Salman Mansourbillah, Yusuf Sabiri. A quick round of applause from our teammates. So, the airline that you all are taking off is Al Akhawain University, Morocco, and I hope we see you in our flights. So before we start my presentation, I want you all to have a question that will sink in throughout the entire presentation, which is, what if you could travel the world just with your face? So imagine with me a world where just with your face you're able to fastly go from airport to airport and achieve your dream of going through around Africa or going through around the world. So this is one of the questions that we want to have in your mind through the entire presentation. But before we move on, let me ask you all a quick question. How many of you stayed in the waiting line to have your identity checked at the airport? And I'm saying more than 15 minutes, 20 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes. Exactly. I myself and my teammates happened to have the same issue, and we all thought, what if we could solve that? So our problem statement is that in airports, there's an inconsistent human verification. When you go through the gates, sometimes if you change your hair color, if you change your behavior, or even if you change something about your feature, the person takes more time to recognize you, which makes the queues longer and makes your experience in the airport less wonderful than how we want it. The second thing is we're also solving the long queues at the airport check-in. There's also the high risk of identity fraud. Sometimes you might use someone's passport, and because the queues are moving extremely fast, in some cases, in some airports, you might have a mistake of just misrecognizing you. The last one is data privacy gaps, which means that let's say, for example, I'm not Moroccan for 1 second. I am a US citizen. So I want to travel to Ethiopia, and Ethiopia does not have my identity. So how does it know that it is actually me? It knows it through the passport. What if they're not able to correctly recognize me? And this is one of the issues that we're solving. Okay, so dear passengers, please fasten your seatbelts with me towards this trip to the African digital identity. So our solution, which is Gatekeeper, it's a digital identity capture at the kiosk. So what do we do? What we do is, you take a selfie, you have your borders pass scanned, and then the data is sent to MOSI for Digital ID API. It's an automated pipeline, and that's our kind of selling point. What is our selling point is that you just go through the gate, you have your face captured, you have your face authenticated, and then we have a matching decision. What is matching decision? Matching decision means that, okay, I am at the airport, is this I am? Yes, it is I am. You can go through the gates. I am at the airport, the person at the gate is checking my face using our system, checking my passport, but it gives him an error, or gives her an error, or there's an 80% that this is not I am. They are not, we're just trying to reduce the human error. They are automatically sent to another immigration officer that will do a double check after that to make sure that it is the person that we're trying to see if it is the actual person. So we're using an ultra-fast on-device matching. We're using mobile FaceNet, which is a vision, an artificial intelligence model that has a 99.55 accuracy. It's extremely high. We're not the ones who kind of made it, we just fine-tuned some of it. But it makes the entire processing time less than 1 second. So we're able to tell if it's you or not in less than 1 second. We also have built-in security and audits, so we're using the MOSI e-savings ledger plus edge devices. So if I want to explain to someone who has no computer science background what edge device is, it's basically like we do not have to send the data to the server and back and forth. So we're processing everything inside the device. And in few words, it just means it is just faster. So to continue, I want you all to introducing to you Emmy. Emmy is one of the passengers that's with us today. So Emmy is someone that hates queues, loves traveling, and his dream is to travel the entire Africa. Isn't it just like our dream all? We love all culture and we love to embrace it and we love to discover others' cultures. So Emi's dream is to start with Ethiopia to travel Africa. And our goal as a team is to make his entire experience seamless, better, faster, more enjoyable. And one of the things to do that is to cut these queues and make the entire process faster. So we will make Emi's dream come fast and true while he's going to be using our system. So the user journey flow is, let's all imagine for a moment I'm not Aya, I'm Emi. So let's say I'm using the system. What do? I tap the boarding pass, the officer captures a selfie of me and of Emi and runs liveness checks via the cameras. Then through the face authentication feature, the authentication is made, so it tells him if it's me or not. I am verified, my identity is confirmed, the passport is stamped, the officer opens the gates, and Emi can travel to Ethiopia. And in a round of applause, we achieved Emi's dream of traveling faster. Okay. So to explain this in a more system architecture and technical way, but also in an easy way, we have two things. We have the passenger and we have the passport. The passport is scanned, we take the data from it, we make sure it's the actual passport using the chips that are already installed in the passport. Then we check the passenger, we take a picture of him, we register him through e-signet Mosi. Then we use our system, which is the gatekeeper. We have two options, a match and a non-match. A match, it means that it is the actual person. A not match means that there is a certain error and we send the person to the immigration office. So we're not removing the humans, we're just making the staff's experience in the airport better, and we're reducing the human error by making sure we have not just the officer, but another layer on top. And the layer on top is helping the officer to determine whether that person is Emi, Aya, or any of the citizens that are traveling. So the impact. Let's do some quick math. Let's go back to primary school. We have 1 to 4 million annual passengers at Africa's top 10 airports in 2024 only, which means we have in 2024 124 million people travel in Africa. So our system accuracy is 99.5%, which means that if we solve this issue, we're gonna make 100. Wait, I lost the math. Thank you guys. I think you guys are better than me as well. So it's 123 million people have clearly a more seamless experience through the automated passport control, which leads us to how much? 500,000 people that might be sent to the gates. So if I was a police officer at the gate airport, I would be extremely happy right now because I'll just make the entire process better and I'll make also everyone's experience better at the airport. What we're doing also is we're lowering the annual costs, saving for airports and airline in staffing and operation. So we're not reducing the staff, we're just making them do other stuff because the airport is extremely busy and it's always on alert. We're increasing the passenger satisfaction, having a faster, stress-free experience, and we're also decreasing the identity fraud incidents. But wait a minute, wasn't one of the questions that popped on your mind right now, how is this system different than the gates that are in Dubai and Singapore? And what makes our system sound so great? Well, let me tell you. What makes our system different is that it's made for the African context. What does that mean? It means that we're only using a camera and a computer to fastly detect the person. Smart gates are extremely expensive, and not all African countries are able to afford that for now. We want to be able to afford these type of technologies in the future, of course, by using very good biometrics. But what if we could bring this gap between us and other continents and other countries, but leveraging this and bringing the technology as like a lower cost and at a faster pace, and having the same technology being implemented in Africa. And Africa's tourism is growing extremely fastly as our continent is improving and becoming better day by day. So we should follow the trend by not copying others, but bringing our own technology and bridging this gap between us and others towards small solutions that African develop for Africans. So now the challenges. Of course we have challenges. So some of the challenges we have are variable capture conditions. What does that mean? sometimes when I take a selfie, I look better in certain luminosity than another one. And it's just that these type of high performance resolution cameras, if the lighting is not amazing, it might not be able to detect it. So you should have a good lighting in the place where it is installed. High-trained staff, we can introduce things like Gatekeep Academy or things where we educate people for the platform. We will be able to see the platform in a few. It's extremely easy. Then privacy and compliance. If I am a person that do not want my data to be in a certain country, I do not have to have my data kept there. What's going to happen is that they scan my passport and they just compare it to with my face. But the issue that is sometimes people do not want their pictures taken. So we'll have to make sure that we get consent from the people, and also when they want to fly throughout the airports or throughout the planes, and make sure that the data is not used for training or any others unless the person agrees on it, complying with every African country's data privacy laws. So integration with the old infrastructure. It might be hard sometimes to integrate things with the old infrastructure. Just depends on which country and how the legal system is there, but we'll try our best to make sure to do that. So now, okay. Can you please make sure the video is going? Oops, technical error. Just so while they solve the technical error, are you enjoying your flight so far? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, we do not have any refreshments. I hope our solution is enough. We have a break after this one. Consider that the refreshments of our airplane. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, now there is no signal. But basically, the system is extremely easy to use. I hope we have the video working. It's a very easy interface. We try to accommodate for all types of people. We also will try in the future, if our solution ever gets to live, hopefully, we'll try to add languages, so maybe basically French, English, and maybe even languages based on the African dialect or something like that. That would also be something interesting for our solution. I'm just trying to distract you guys.
While they troubleshoot, I think I missed it. Would it work under offline conditions? So imagine that you're at an airport and you can't hit the MOSIP API. Can you re-download the credential and do an on-device authentication?
Okay, thank you very much for your question. And it's actually very great because it's something that we kind of thought of. We cannot choose the e-signet API without it, but we can always have add the functionality because we can also have deploy it on phone. So if we deploy it on phone, we might be able to use the model locally. That's what I talked about, which is the edge computing, which means we have the model inside exactly the computer maybe, and it will be able to just compare the faces, but will not be able maybe to store the data because we won't have access to the databases because it's an offline thing. So I hope I answered your question. Thank you. It's only the demo and then the last. I'm sorry for the time constraints. Okay, perfect. I'll be talking. I think I should have never showed the video. I spoke my dialect just so it's fast. I said, can you come back to the starting point? Yes, thank you very much, Simon. So this is what the website will look like. It's extremely easy. This is just showing the team, of course, and then it shows how it works, so people are able to read it again. And then we can start the registration. I want you to know that there is two versions of this demo. For the time seek, so we use the reference image, which is the passport. So it's an image from my handsome teammates. And here we're comparing the real image, the image of the teammates, and here what do we have? Is that it's a 94% match confidence, which means Walid is actually Walid. Then we have the same passport used, and we're comparing it with someone else's face, which is my face. I was not blonde here. So, and here we have a 93.5% match confidence that it is false. We also have a signing with e-signet, where for the police officers, where they use an e-signet to sign in. We get the OTP, we confirm, and then ta-da. It's perfectly authenticated, and you will have access to the system. We'll go to the profile, and this is just mock data, sample data, to make sure that the system is working. Okay, so what I also want you to know is that we don't only have the compare picture with picture, we also have the compare picture with live. So we're able to live compare the person's feature, and the people can just keep on moving, and the passports, we scan them and we upload them. So that's it for our demo. Should I move to the conclusion, or we don't have the time? Go ahead. Okay, thank you very much. So that's it. Okay, so to wrap up our talk, our system is very fast. It verifies passengers' identity in seconds instead of wasted minutes. It's accurate with a 99.55% accuracy, while reducing the human error and not completely removing the humans from the entire pipeline. It also creates a seamless, delightful travel experience designed specifically for the African context and like existing solutions. I'll also add a point in the conclusion is that we're extremely grateful for the Upanzi network, because through it we were able to talk to a lot of exhibitors, and we talked about our solution, and we talked about the need for Africa and how we might be able to make and help Africa better with this type of solutions that are cost friendly and easy to use. And a lot of people were interested in the solution, and hopefully you will be able to have something tangible in a few years. And on that, I would like to tell you, I hope you all enjoyed to fly it with us, and I hope you get to fly with us next and to use our system in the airports in a few years. Thank you very much, everyone.
All right, so I get a couple of questions from the judges. Thank you.
When you compare liveness to when you compare liveness to picture, how do you handle the presentation attack? A presentation attack, like if I were to try to mask, try to do a false presentation.
Should I answer, or does anyone want to answer?
So you said if someone shows up with, for example, specific gadgets or something to confuse the system. So normally we're talking about the immigration part. And of course, just like you take specific conditions for the passport photo, normally we would like to request you if you can, for example, make the life easier for everyone and get rid of anything unnecessary. But in our heavy experimentation, as you remember from the demo, my friend Walid here, in his passport, he doesn't have glasses. But with the picture, he had glasses. So the system still recognizes from other views and concerns, we can show all the cases. From other cases, in her passport photo, she doesn't have blonde hair. We compared it with her live yesterday's photo with blonde hair. She still is recognized. I hope this answers your question.
Thank you very much for that peaceful flight. I would like to ask about something that you mentioned. If over time you notice that I am a naughty passenger, is there a way for me to keep record and, mark me on the system? Thank you.
Okay. So, thank you very much. Do you want to ask? Okay. Thank you very much for your question. It's actually a very smart question, because for some reason it was something that was talked about by our mentors. And for the naughty passenger, For now, we do not have any solution for that. We're only a face authenticator matching platform. But for future works, we might add that. And if we do add that, we can do something like within a certain airport, we can have a database of naughty people. Because to be able to have it distributed into multiple airports and so they share the data, we have to get sometimes the consent of the person or get the consent of the entire airport for this type of distributed systems where we share the data. So,
have you examined ICAO standards for travel and thought about them alongside your application? Thank you.
we did do that with some of the exhibitors. We also did ask some questions when we had like an 8-hour overlay in Dubai. So we just sometimes just went to officers and told them, oh, we're going to this hackathon and we're trying this and this and that. What do you think of the solution? So we kind of did get feedback. But what's kind of hard on that is that if we are deploying it for the entire Africa, it might be a bit hard because every country has different laws. So we'll try to sometimes accommodate based on the country law. So this is research that we should do in the future. Thank you.
Interesting. My fellow judge has just asked my question. I want to ask about the ICAO. But otherwise, this is amazing.
Thank you very much.
Right, thank you so much, gatekeepers, for that. And just to say, we are halfway the session. So with that said, we have some coffee for you guys. I know energies are down, so we need some coffee in ourselves. I know that the judges also need to get some energy up as well. So we have coffee right out here. We shall take 15